You know, we have all this time and we don't know what to do with it now.
You're just never gonna know how it feels every day to think about them, and you miss them every second of every day.
Life is really hard.
I mean, the whole day I kind of felt off. I had a feeling that morning that something wasn't right, but I just excused it and pushed it aside.
And then I remember just feeling like, oh my gosh, this isn't what's supposed to happen. We're 30 years old, we have 3 little kids. This isn't the life that I had planned out.
We went to high school together and we were just friends all through school, and we were 15 and he just handed me his class ring one night and we just started dating.
So we met through having classes together and through mutual friends, and he asked me to marry him in Jackson Square in the French Corridor in New Orleans.
Pretty much from the first night we met, we hit it off completely and spent just about every single day together for the rest of his life.
Kind of hit it off, and so we continuously started to hang out all the time and really enjoyed each other, just the company, and he really made me laugh, and we always had a good time together. So we just kind of clicked right from the start.
We were both involved in a student government organization called RHA, Residence Hall Association, and we were both in a large meeting together. And I was sitting at one table and he was sitting kind of across from me, and I was talking with my vice president, and I'm like, oh, isn't he hot? And she wanted me to actually get his phone number for her, but I got it for myself instead. So,
A year after we graduated high school and got stationed in Italy, and he called me a month after being there and proposed to me over the phone.
So he came in and kneeled down next to the bed and just said, you know, Kelly, I've been thinking about this for so long, and I'm gonna do it my way. And so I opened my eyes and he had the ring, and so he proposed to me that night. Obviously, to show the ring off, we went out with a lot of our friends over there. We went to several places, just having some drinks and having fun. I woke up the next morning at about 10 o'clock to my phone ringing, and then I'm like, well, hold on, I gotta wake Nick up and we'll be coming back to Dubuque. And then I went over to wake him up, and he wouldn't wake up, and he was cold, and he had passed in his sleep. I woke up the next morning at about 10 o'clock to my phone ringing.
And he was driving home that night, and he had been I got a call in the middle of the night that he had been in a car accident. He was 2 blocks from our house. He was driving 40 miles an hour uphill, and he swerved off the road because he fell asleep, and he had a tree that was about this big.
well, that morning I got up like I normally do, and I went out onto the computer and I talked to him from like 6:15, 6:30 till 7 a.m. talking about, you know, how happy we were together and how we were excited to extend our family when he got back. I was expecting a phone call from him later in the day. Then I wasn't receiving a phone call. I thought it was really odd, and I was a little frustrated that I didn't, because if he said he was going to email or whatever, he did it. And I heard a knock on the front door, which I thought was really strange, because with us, we never use the front door. We'd always use the side door. And I looked outside, saw a car I didn't recognize, and saw 2 officers in their Class A's, which is their dress green uniform. And if the sink hadn't been there, I think I would have hit the floor.
And I got a phone call that he didn't wake up that morning. That it was about 10:30, and his roommate tried to wake him up, and he actually passed of a heart attack, and he was 28 years old.
I was able to talk to him Through the night before they intubated him for the major surgery, I was able to talk to him too, and he told me that he loved me several times, and that if I never saw him again, to take care of the kids. I'm really thankful that I had that, because not a lot of people my age, when you have a tragic loss like that, get to hear words like that. So I was really glad that I had that and have that.
My dad opened the door and just said, you know, Tabitha, there's 2 guys here that want to see you, and when you're in the military, you know, like, if there's 2 guys at your door, it's not good, you know.
Feeling his hand and trying to wake him up and slapping his face, and I put my hand under here to like lift his head up, and it was like all warm and sweaty right here. But otherwise he was really cold, and I just started screaming and went upstairs. It was like a dream. It was like all a weird dream. I just felt so helpless, and I just kept praying and telling myself he was gonna make it, he's gonna be okay, and whatever, you know, if he's hospitalized or if he's, you know, brain dead or anything, I'd be there for him and just make him live. And so many things go through your head in that time.
What am I supposed to do now? Like, how do I tell him later in life that his daddy was killed and that he's never going to get to know him? And, you know, like, what do I do? I just didn't know, like, how do you pick up the pieces at all to start to even, I don't know, like, just the whole idea of what I'm supposed to tell him and how I'm supposed to fill my husband's shoes is just, it still baffles me. I mean, there's some big shoes to fill, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, so.
And then I remember just feeling like, oh my gosh, this isn't what's supposed to happen. We're 30 years old, we have 3 little kids. This isn't the life that I had planned out. It's like you almost go into a coma where your eyes are still open, but and your brain's still thinking, but your body's not moving.
It's hard, like, you know, to start a whole new life. It's really hard, and I don't know, I try really hard, but you really just take it one day at a time. That's all you can do, you know, like, you don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. And
I was devastated. I was in tears, I was in disbelief, I was angry. So many emotions run through your body like a roller coaster. Why would God do this to me? Why would he take someone so special?
And I'm hitting a really tough part in my grief because we were gonna get married the beginning of October, and we wanted to start trying for children right afterwards. And we had everything planned out. But life is really hard.
One of the things I know that is the hardest, especially being young, and you're more immature, you know, and that's part of the fun of what we're having with Fine Young Widows, is that we want to be immature, we want to make mistakes, we want to be young, we don't want to act and do the appropriate thing because that's the way old society said you were supposed to do things.
You know, as time passes, a lot of people expect you to get over it and just deal with it and move on. And, you know, a lot of people don't know how hard that is, especially at a young age. You know, you think you met the right person and you're gonna, you know, marry them and have children with them and grow old with them. Then all of a sudden, you know, that 50 years of your life that you have planned is shattered in one moment.
I was so sick of hearing from people who haven't experienced it, trying to tell me how I should feel and what I should be doing, that I was like, I need to hear from somebody who's been through this. And we arranged a time to meet for coffee, and just having that hour or 2 hours sometimes just to sit and talk to her. And then from there we kind of kept building on the group and invited other ladies to join, and had a formal therapy session with a lady from Body and Soul, and I just don't know where I'd be without all of those women that are in my life now.
I called over to Body and Soul and registered myself for the group, and then went, and I've been going every Wednesday since.
Well, definitely coming to the groups on Wednesday nights help a lot. I've learned how to deal with it better. I learned how to control myself a little better, even though it doesn't look like it.
Without them, I just absolutely am afraid to think of where I'd be and what kind of mother I'd be and what kind of teacher I'd be. And
So, I don't know what else to say.
I'm gonna finish this, okay? You can go play. Are you poops?